Greetings. Today's discussion centers on the need for immigrants in this country, who anyone who's not a citizen, to have a crimmigration lawyer if they've been arrested or detained for a criminal act. And what's different with a crimmigration lawyer is somebody who knows the immigration effects of your criminal arrest. And what happens is many criminal lawyers, they know how to treat you if you're a citizen. They worry about you going to jail. They worry about you uh, going to probation. They worry about you paying a fine, having to do community service. But one thing they really don't concern themselves enough with is what the deportation consequences are and the inability for you to legalize your status here in the United States if you are an immigrant, or you could even be a resident and get deported for certain crimes. So it's very important that if you are arrested, you have a crimmigration lawyer, somebody who knows both the criminal law and the immigration laws. And I've been helping immigrants with criminal problems since 1994. When somebody gets arrested for DWI, I try to figure out the best and the best solution so that it doesn't affect them later on. In fact, there's discussions that they want to make it one crime of DWI for which you are convicted. You will not be able to show good moral character, which is a requirement in many relief that are available for immigration applicants and people who are in deportation. I see it a lot that the court requires the criminal lawyer to inform the immigrant that there might be immigration effects, uh, deportation effects, detention effects for their crime, but they don't really follow up and make sure that the person is getting the proper advice. Because let's face it, if you're going to be deported and that's your family for which would be the rest of your life, or you get probation for 3 years, I think it's worse for you to be deported. And that's really the main focus that should be there. Of course, nobody wants probation, nobody wants to go to jail, but definitely nobody wants to be deported from their family for the rest of their lives. Uh, and what's really more of a concern now that President Trump has returned to office and his administration is that in January they passed the law, the Laken Riley Act, which allows immigration to detain you, ICE to detain you just for being arrested for certain crimes, uh, crimes of violence, crimes where the person is not telling the truth, has lied, things like that of that nature. Even shoplifting, which is a violation. So, but a violation, and for immigrants, it's not just criminal acts that are considered crimes, but offenses. So it's very important that any immigrant is properly represented by somebody who worries about both immigration consequences, deportation consequences, and the criminal consequences. And especially since the criminal consequences could be a lot lighter than the immigration consequences. Somebody could plead guilty and get a fine for something in criminal court, but end up getting deported for that. So, and that's where a lot of criminal attorneys don't do the proper thing by having the person seriously speak to an immigration lawyer who knows both the criminal effects uh, and the immigration deportation effects of pleading guilty to a crime. And in fact, with that new law, all you have to do is be arrested. You only have to be convicted. The immigration ICE can come and pick you up and detain you and probably deport you from the United States. So it's very important to be properly represented with somebody who knows both laws or will properly check out both laws. I a lot of felonies I don't do, but I also work with other attorneys in cases where I think I'm going to need extra help. Unfortunately, a lot of the criminal attorneys don't do that. They don't find additional help. And the other thing too is President Trump has made it a federal crime for not registering with the immigration service if you are here more than 30 days and never been registered with the government before. So these are all things that must concern immigrants, and they have to be properly represented in these matters. And anytime they think they've been arrested before, they have to look at it and take it seriously, especially the immigration deportation consequences. Thank you.